All of us find ourselves in a crisis from time to time. What I want to share with you today is some key wisdom that we've learned over the years here at W Company to help you understand not only how to survive a crisis and ensure that you are not actually ending up to be a casualty of that crisis, or those that you're leading end up being a casualty of that crisis, but to actually thrive through it and end up securing your position as a valued leader at the end of the day. So there's three key lies that I want to quickly share with you that all of us have been taught, all of us believe that if we just enact these things, we'll actually be able to get through the crisis unharmed. So first, secret number one is we think that if we can lay blame on somebody, that we're actually going to get through the crisis. And I'm here to tell you that crisis is actually not about blame. Eventually, if justification and justice can be had in terms of who started the crisis, perhaps that is important along the way. But when you're in the middle of it, or just when the crisis is happening, you need to make sure that you're not actually trying to solve and prove who's to blame, because that's just a blame game, and it's actually not going to help you thrive through the crisis. One of the key things that you need to do is actually discover where you are vulnerable in that crisis. So if you are spending all your time trying to catch the bad guy that's started the crisis, even if that's you, it's not going to help you actually thrive through it or lead those that are depending on you to get through that crisis. So the first lie is that we think that if we can find who to blame about this crisis, that we're actually going to avoid it. But the truth is, crisis isn't about blame. Don't fall into the blame game. Okay, secret number one. Secret number two is that we think that if we just wait, the crisis is going to pass us by. And in that, we're going to be able to avoid the bad outcome. But the truth is that the crisis will not wait for you. The crisis has a momentum of its own, has a timing of its own, that once it starts, it's just going to keep ticking away until it comes to that inevitable conclusion that crisis is intended to meet, to inflict, to succeed at. So one of the key things in terms of thriving through that crisis is to not wait for it to pass you by, because in that, what you do is you avoid the responsibility that you need to take where you're actually vulnerable, where those that you are leading and depending upon your leadership are vulnerable within that crisis. So don't get caught in the blame game, and don't get caught up in thinking that you can wait for that crisis to pass you by. You need to take action as soon as you see it coming, or as soon as you find yourself in the crisis. Find out where you're vulnerable and then take action where you are actually responsible, so that you can keep pace with it and ultimately get ahead of it. That's the goal, is to get ahead of that crisis, so that as things are happening, you are actually in a secured position from which to lead from. All right, that's secret number two. Secret number three is that we think that we can actually force opportunities to happen that will ultimately secure our position. But that's a lie. We actually can't secure those opportunities by forcing them to happen. Crisis, here's the truth, crisis is not about forcing it. You can't force those you're leading. You have to invite them into, crazy as it sounds, you need to invite them into the crisis so that you can actually, all of you, take responsibility, move into the opportunities that naturally come out of every single crisis. See, one of the key things in that is that every single opportunity exists within a crisis, either for you or for those that you're serving. I want you to think about that. Every single person that you can help is in a crisis in some way, and that's an opportunity for you. So if you find yourself in that crisis, that's actually an opportunity for you and an opportunity for somebody else to come in and help you move through that crisis to ultimately secure your position as a valued leader, or positions as a valued leader if we're talking about family or team or organization or community. You want to come together, and as each person in that team or in that community or in that company takes responsibility where you're vulnerable, or where those you are leading are vulnerable, to actually help answer the need that you're there to meet in their life, that opens up opportunities that have never been there before. So you need to actually embrace the opportunities that can only come out of crisis as it happens. So you need to avoid actually forcing opportunities to happen, because here's the truth, opportunities are given, they're not created. Opportunities are given, they're not created. Opportunities come to you. You can't create an opportunity. They just show up. You need to be ready for it. So how you get ready for it in a crisis is know where you're vulnerable, know what you're responsible for, and then you can actually move into those opportunities as they show up to ultimately secure your position as a valued leader. So those are the 3 things I wanted to share with you today. And in that, if you find yourself in a crisis, or if you know that there's a crisis coming, this is some of the core stuff that we teach within the Crisis Code. I invite you to check that out at the Valued Leader. So valuedleader.com, that's our Valued Leader platform where we have all our courses, and specifically this course called the Crisis Code, where, as I said, we go into the crisis decoder so that you can make sure that everywhere you find yourself in a crisis, or those that you're leading through a crisis, that you have all the pieces that you need to thrive through that as the crisis lives its way out. So, as I said, so that you can stay ahead of it. All right? Wonderful. All right. Hope that helps. And well, I know it will help. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm in a crisis right now. Okay. All of us find ourselves in a crisis from time to time.